let me show you 10 tips and tricks for the camera that might be useful on Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. If you are a fan of the Pro mode, if you like to adjust the white balance or exposure or ISO or anything, then you will be happy to get the Expert RAW, which is pretty much the same as the Pro mode, but this additional plugin or an extension to the camera allows you to get even more out of this Pro mode. So this is a separate tool that can be downloaded, and we can even find some very cool features over here. So if you tap on this chemistry bottle over here, I forgot how it's actually named, then you can, for example, turn on the astrophoto mode, where you can also adjust the capture time, and you can capture photos of the sky at night. Besides that, there's also the astro portrait mode. Over here we can tap on this eye icon in order to read the description of these two modes. For example, the astro portrait allows you to capture stunning portraits under the stars, and astro portrait blends the beauty of long exposure astrophotos with perfectly focused subjects to create magical starlit memories. Whereas the other one, the astrophoto, allows you to capture the beauty of the night sky like never before. At least this is how it's described here. Astrophoto extends the shutter time, revealing the stars, galaxies, and other celestial wonders with stunning clarity. So definitely a pretty cool stuff. Now, besides that, another advantage of this Expert RAW over the Pro mode is that you can actually use 200 megapixels camera over here. You can also use 200 megapixels in the photo mode, but if you go to the Pro mode, then you will notice that over here you can only use up to 50 megapixels. You cannot really switch to 200. So definitely worth trying out Expert RAW if you used Pro before. Now, another thing that is worth mentioning is the RAW format, because you might want to take photos in the RAW format. So the Expert RAW, as the name suggests, also allows you to capture photos in that format, or also in JPEG format as well. However, if you for some reason don't want to use the Expert RAW, but you want to stick with the Pro mode, and you want to make photos in the RAW format anyway, you can still do that. But to do so, we need to first go to the camera settings. And then over here, if you go to advanced picture options, you will find Pro mode picture format, and over here you can choose the format for the photos that you will take in the Pro mode. If you go to the video mode, then in the top right corner, of course, you can choose the resolution and the frame rate for video recording. And of course, we have the 8K resolution, 30 FPS, but we also have 4K resolution, where in this case we can only record up to 60 frames per second, which is not that much if you think about it. And especially if you seen specs provided, for example, by the Samsung website, you may have noticed that you should be able to get 120 frames per second. So in order to get 120 frames per second for 4K videos, we need to actually use the Pro video mode. So over here, we can actually utilize the camera even more for videos and get 120 frames per second. Unfortunately, you don't really get much more in 8K resolution. You can only drop down to 24 frames per second, but I don't think anyone would like to do so really, unless there are some specific reasons. Besides these modes, it is also worth mentioning the single take that allows you to capture really fun photos. There's also a highlight of what you can also do over here, but you can capture a photo and convert it into something fun. We have pre-recording, so as you can see over here, it is stated that we have pre-recording, which we can enable and disable. But if you take a photo of something, let's say I'm gonna take a photo of this car, we even have a long countdown over here. As you can see, we are counting down 15 seconds, so I'm gonna skip that process. All right, there we go. So now if we go and take a look at the photo, over here you will find all taken photos or highlights that you can use out of this single take. So this is like some sort of a hybrid between a photo mode and video mode, with some additional tools that can be fun. For example, we can get a boomerang clip out of that single shot. We can create a highlight video. We have a single frame for the photo. We have the rewind clip, cropped shot, and the original video, which we can play over here. Now, at first you might not see every every take or every option out of that single take, because as you can see now it says 9, so you should give it a little bit of time in order to make it load even more. So we have filtered picture and another one over here. So as you can see, we can, with a single take, we can make a couple of great shots, and then we can choose what we want to do with that single take. Not only that, we can also tap on these 4 dots on the right side of the phone, and then in the single take, if you tap on this icon with 2 sliders, we can choose what we want to capture. So we have the option to make highlight videos, slow-mo clips, boomerang clips, filtered pictures, collages, cropped shots, and that's all. So of course you can select what should be included, what possibly can be done with a single take. If you want to capture macro photos, then you don't have to look for any specific mode or something like that. You can simply use a photo mode, and if you try to make a photo of the small object, you will see this flower over here on the left side, and this is the macro mode. So we can of course zoom in, but we have to be careful. If you, for example, use zoom, you might see some glitches or weird behaviors where the lenses may switch here and there. So you want to definitely keep a distance between the object and the camera to avoid that, or reduce the zoom if needed. You can turn on and off this macro mode by tapping on the flower. And I forgot to mention, there's also one more thing that we can do in the video mode, and that is enable the super steady mode, which allows you to capture smooth videos, which should avoid all the shaking effects and so on and so forth. If you are running or just walking fast or something, you can reduce those shaking effects by using that mode. If not, in the top right corner, you can also use these 4 dots again, and you should be able to find the super steady mode over here in this spot. So now I want to mention a few things that we can find in the settings. So once again, tap on these 4 dots and let's open camera settings. Here we can go to intelligent optimization, where we can optimize our photos. Let's try to get the focus, there we go. So if you use, for example, the maximum quality optimization, this is for photo mode only, then you can also use the scene optimizer that automatically optimizes the color and contrast of pictures to make dark scenes look brighter, food look tastier, and landscapes look more vivid. So we can turn this option on if needed. Besides that, if we scroll down, you should be able to find tracking autofocus option for the rear camera, where we can keep the rear camera focused on the subject even if they move. In the camera settings, we can also find the video stabilization option, and in advanced video options, we can, for example, enable the HDR 10 Plus over here. It says HDR without the 10 Plus, but if you read the description, you will see that it is 10-bit HDR. And we can also change the video format, so if you want to use the HDR, you can use HEVC video format. And we can also find shooting methods option, where we find a bunch of useful tools as well. For example, we can use voice commands in order to capture photos, or a gesture. We can use our palm, show the palm to the camera in order to capture a photo. So as you can see here, we have, for example, voice commands that we can use in order to take a photo, which is smile, cheese, capture, or shoot. So this is something that I mentioned before, because by accident I probably mentioned capture and the camera tried to take a photo. And if you want to start recording a video with your voice, you can simply say to record video. We also have the floating shutter button, which allows us to create additional shutter button and move it and place it anywhere on the screen. So as an example, I'm going to show you how these work. So for voice commands, if we say cheese, as you can see, we have captured a photo without touching the shutter button. Over here, you can also see that additional shutter button that I just enabled, and we can place it all the way to the middle, to the position of the default shutter button, and we can also take it out and place it anywhere we wish it to be. And there was also one more option, which was the palm gesture, which is of course for the front camera. So if you show your hand, your palm, you will start a 2-second countdown and you will take a photo like that as well. Pretty useful for selfies. And that is it. I hope you found this video helpful. Leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and see you in my next videos. Bye!